All right, here we are, TG Sears. We are going to be going on another trail hike. I'm here with my friend Kevin Nalder. He is fire chief here in Palm Springs. Kevin, how you doing?
Great, thanks.
All right. So this trail is called
Bogart Trail.
Bogart Trail. And how long is this trail? Do you have any idea?
It's going to be about 2.5 miles to where we're going.
All right. So Kevin and I are going to be talking along the way and just learning more about him and why he became a firefighter and what he thinks it takes to be a great firefighter. All right, so stay tuned. So this is Palm Springs, right? What this would be like north? South. So south.
This is South Palm Springs. North is that way where all the wind.
But we're
on the south end. West.
Southwest.
The mountains are west.
The backyard.
All around it.
Wow. How did you get into the fire service?
So actually, when I was 16 years old, my mother married a man who was a firefighter for the federal government, GSA.
Oh, okay.
And I used to go to the fire station with him, and I would mow the front lawn for him and hang out with the guys and play pool with them at the fire station, because they were slower fire stations, so they had a little more time on their hands than the municipal departments. Anyway, that was when I was in high school, and then I went off to college, and then after I was done with college and actually had started my career, had a company at the time. I had a lawn and tree spraying company called Permagreen that I was doing. A test came available in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
And I took the test, and there were 2,500 people in a cafeteria in a high school that were taking the test the same day. And I took the physical agilities test, went through the oral panel, and then probably about 2 months goes by. And I really didn't know at the time. I just thought, I'll give this a shot. I enjoyed hanging out, with the stepdad at the fire station, and, thought, well, I'll give it a shot. Looks like, might be something I'd really enjoy. I thought because, I'd played football in high school and college. I thought, well, I like the team. I like, being around. I like that whole environment. Plus, firefighting is helping people, right? And I thought that I would really enjoy that. So I take the test, I do the physical agilities test, I do the oral board, and about 2 months goes by. And here's an interesting thing. And I'm like, I thought they'd be calling me sooner. So I call the city's HR department, and I'm like, hey, my name Kevin Nalder. I said, I took this test. I thought I, was going to be hearing back sooner. I haven't heard anything. What's going on? So they go, oh my God, like tomorrow we were going to fill your spot. You need to come get your medical exam, and you're one of the top people to be hired. So,
wow.
And they hired 12 in this class, and actually over that year they hired 45 new firefighters in that fiscal year.
What year was that?
This was in 1985.
Okay.
Well, it was in 84. This was in like the fall of 84,
okay.
But I got hired actually January 1st of 1985.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm like, wow, and little background. So I find out that I wrote, out of the 2,500 people, I tied for the top written score with one other candidate, and did well on the oral, and the physical agilities, I actually broke records on the course. And because I just finished playing football, I was in pretty good shape and pretty strong at the time, very unlike what I am now, and at age 60.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I went to my medical, captain on the job met me there because he was at the physical agilities course, and he was like, my God, we thought we lost you. Thank you for calling. Like we really need guys like you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, thanks. That was really nice of you to come out of your way and meet me here and stuff. And then the rest is history. I spent 24 years with the Salt Lake City Fire Department. Really loved it. Then was fortunate to be offered the position as fire chief in Kirkland Fire Department, your fire department.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful. Had a great 6.5 years there, and wonderful fire department. And then the opportunity in California came up, and in Palm Springs, and I've been here for 5 years. And it's been great. I've really, it's a career that I would recommend, and I think that there are many rewards, there are many trials. You face a lot of adversity, you face things that you don't want to see, that you're exposed to, but overall it's immensely rewarding, because when you do make a difference, you really make a difference that is hard to find in any other occupation than being a firefighter and a paramedic. And you know, I was a paramedic for 5 years before I was promoted to captain, and you know, and I've you know, was in the Fire Prevention Bureau, which I wouldn't trade for anything, because being on the proactive side versus being on the reactive side, I faced a real appreciation for stopping the loss of human life, the loss of property, the things that just devastate people when they happen. And I really enjoyed my time as the fire marshal in Salt Lake City, doing that part too. And then of course I became a deputy chief in Salt Lake City for a few years before I got the fire chief job in Kirkland. And being a fire chief is rewarding, because you know, you're in a place, it's political, it's challenging, but yeah, you have an opportunity to really make a difference for an organization, to get some things accomplished that you really want to propel. You know, when you're the fire chief, you're working for the firefighters. That's your job. I mean, you're trying to get them what they need to provide the best service possible to the community. And if you look at it any other way, then you're remiss. So, and you won't last as long. I mean, I've been a fire chief for what, we'll call it 12 years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have lasted 12 years if I didn't really care, about what I'm doing and have a passion for the community I'm working for. So no, I've loved it.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
All right. Now, is there a department at the airport, or do you cover?
us.
Oh, you cover that as well. Okay. So Kevin, being a fire chief, you're, you know, in that position of hiring firefighters. What is it that you look for when you're hiring a firefighter? What is it, the qualities? What kind of personality? What are you looking for when you're looking for a firefighter?
Yeah. So I am looking for somebody that has had life's experiences, no matter what walk of life they come from. And when I say experiences, I'm not talking about experience on an ambulance. I'm not talking about, you know, their Explorer program or anything like that. I'm talking about real life's experiences. I'm talking about, for example, I did an interview on a panel one time with a young man who came in, and he was raised with a single mom, and he had 3 brothers and sisters, and he came in and he recited about how he had to help and give up a lot of his personal goals or needs to help his mother raise his siblings, right? So I hear a story like that, and I know that's a selfless person. I know that that's somebody that has real compassion and empathy, and that's what we're looking for in a firefighter. We're looking for people that care, because you won't make it through a career as a firefighter if you don't have compassion, empathy, care, love in your heart for the people you serve, because you can get burned out because you see a lot of stuff over and over and over again. So, you know, there is that side of the fire service. So to get through the career, you're going to have that. I also look for somebody like an athlete, somebody that has played on a team. To me, that's really important, because, you know, if you've played on a team, you know how to work with your fellow teammates, you know how to execute, you know how it all needs to come together, just like when you're in the fire service, whether it be a medical, a rescue, or a structure fire, or a wildland fire. You need to be able to work together as a team, and you need to be selfless there too. And it needs to be orchestrated. As we know, we have the incident command system. So I'm not looking for chevrons on the sleeve. I'm looking for what kind of a person are you. And we want people from all walks of life that can offer diversity to our organization, that have something unique and different to bring to the table. But the underlying story are those two things I said. Are you a real compassionate, caring person? And do you know how to work well with others? And that'll carry you through your career. And you know, even working construction gives you things in the fire department. When we're fighting fires, when we're doing rescue, that's some critical life's experiences. So you don't have to work on an ambulance to be a good firefighter. You don't have to have committed from the 2nd grade to be a firefighter. You know, you can make a choice at any point in time in your life, and those life's experiences, you need to be able to use those to help you, and hopefully you're that kind of person that we're looking for, that empathetic, caring, loving, compassionate person. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
You're also in that position to promote people from firefighter to a captain's position or a driver's position, and then to a captain's position in your department. What qualities are you looking for to promote to that level?
Yeah, so it kind of falls in line. I would say with my answer on what I'm looking for new hire firefighters, I'm looking for a high level of emotional intelligence. I'm looking for somebody that has shown through their progression in their career, no matter which rank they're promoting from and to, at any of the ranks. I'm looking for, what have you been giving to the the department, the organization? What have you been doing to the community? Are you involved in community events? Or do you just want to go home after your shift and not be part of it? Are you involved in projects for the organization? And then I want to see somebody at each level that is a good mentor, that is a leader, that cares about the people, both peers, subordinates, doesn't matter, even supervisors, that's interested, and that's part of the emotional intelligence, that cares about their success, that wants to help them be better, because by helping them be better, the organization is better and our service to our community is better. So I look for someone that has that emotional intelligence, to be a leader, a good listener, not a reactionary person. And you see that day to day. So you don't find that during the testing process. You don't find that during an assessment center. You don't find that during the tactical or the in-basket or anything. You know, you're measuring their administrative skills. You're measuring whether they can do an actual tactical or run an incident or anything. But more important to me as a chief is, what is your value to your fellow firefighters and to the community? That's the most important to me.
What are some things that you don't like about the fire service? What, you know, everyone's talking about how they love the fire service, but what is it that you don't like?
Yeah, so loaded question.
Yeah.
I would have to say that's tough, because I love the fire service. But what I don't like about the fire service is what we see in the fire service. I don't like to see people lose their property. I don't like to see people lose loved ones. I personally don't like to see loss of life, loss of property myself. I'm not a, and it probably started back when I was the fire marshal in Salt Lake City. I'm not a person that likes to see it the big one, because I know what the result of the big one is. And the big accident, the big fire, it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. I'm really into the proactive. I like the proactive side of the fire service, and I would really like to see this country move more toward the fire proactive side of the fire service. You know, because I would say I don't like that. I've been on children that have died. I've been on teenagers that have died. Those are the toughest, especially when you're a parent and you have children at home, or babies at home, or whatever. It's just really tough. You know, when you're young in your career, you like the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you want to go on the fire,
right.
You want to do the big medical, you want to do everything. And then as you progress in your career and you see these things happen, then you're more like, whoa, not worth it. My adrenaline is not worth those people's losses. And I probably matured into that over time, just after seeing a whole lot. So is it that I don't like it? No. Should we not be professional and be prepared? Absolutely. We should be able to meet every demand that we're called to meet and be able to do it very well and save a life, and we need to go into it. But do I crave it or want to see it? And of course, I'm a fire chief now. I'm not responding on the calls, but I know how it impacts my firefighters. I know that we have a peer support team and thing in place because it does impact them. I know I've been impacted by those calls. I know I've been impacted by the 3 a.m. calls of I've been sick for 3 weeks and decided to call you at 3 in the morning calls, right? So mental health is a big thing in the fire service now. Suicides are high in the fire service now, and if we could move toward a more proactive fire service than a reactive fire service that would benefit all of the people we serve and the members of our organizations, that would be utopia for me. I would just love to see that. So it's not that I don't like it, it's just I would rather see us move in that direction, move more toward that and less toward the wanting the big fire or the big medical or the big adrenaline emergency.
For you, we're almost at the end of the trail here. I think you see the future real well. You always have. You did in Kirkland, and I know you do here in Palm Springs as well. What do you see changing in the fire?
We're an all-inclusive service.
Boy, we have really changed over the years, haven't we?
Over the years, and I think that there's a real focus now on safety and the safety of our personnel, the safety actually even of the people we serve, and being able to get that service to them quicker. I think that there's going to be a lot of technology that comes out in the future that will help with that will help keep firefighters actually out of harm's way. And I know there have been quite a few things that have come out so far, but I think technology is probably going to be the number one way that the fire service can keep firefighters safer, which in turn, if we're not part of the problem, then we provide better service to our community. So I think that technology is on the horizon. I personally think that the European countries and some of the Asian countries are ahead of us there. I think that they have a lot of technology already in place that keeps their firefighters safer. You see videos of these ladder trucks now, or built into high-rise buildings. You see these elevators that just take all the tools and equipment, everything, right up the outside of the building. The people come out, the firefighters go in, and down the elevators go. So I mean, who knows? I mean, that's pretty futuristic thinking that is in place now in some of the European countries. So maybe we'll see that in here in America.
Do you guys have drones here?
We do. Mostly we use those as we're here. We have a lot of search and rescue efforts, and some of our medicals that are in remote locations, either on the mountains or in some of this large vast land here. We'll use drones for those types of rescues.
Yeah, because it seems like that is a future also, that drones are going to be used more and more.
More and more, yeah. We have a problem here, though. We have to be careful. There's some place we have an airport. We have an international airport, so airspace is kind of touchy. But in general, we have an out. I know there's legislation that's trying to address some of that now. Yeah, in the state of California, and I think nationally, for public safety to be able to have a vaster use of the drones. So I think that you'll start seeing more and more use. I mean, look at helicopters in the policing over years, how that propagated them to be able to police larger areas more rapidly, not lose criminals, etc. And I think drones for the fire service are part of that type of technology.
So the other thing that we were kind of talking about on the way down the trail, kind of discussing, was fire authorities. And how do you see that playing out in the future?
I think more and more. I think a lot of fire departments are tied up with the municipal side of the bureaucracy and competing for funds, and I think that you're going to see more and more movement toward forming fire authorities, no matter what that cooperative effort is, an economy of scale, or even just within your own jurisdiction, so that there is a finite dedicated revenue source for the fire authority or fire department. Here in California, they call them JPAs, Joint Power of Authority, and fire authorities in other states, but it's the exact same concept. And you're starting to see them pop up all over, both in Washington where you are and in California here. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a way to fund and for fire departments to reach a level of service that surpasses what they could do.
Guys.
Hey, how you doing? Whether they're part of just a municipal fire department.
How do you think that benefits the firefighters?
Oh, because you can you'll get more staffing, you'll get better staffing, which of course is always safer for the firefighters. We know how many people it takes to run an incident, right? And when you're shorthanded, that just puts people at risk. And you put people at risk, then you put your customers at risk, our community. Tools and equipment, things that, it's really hard when you're competing for, dollars within the city against other city departments. You're not getting everything that you need all the time. And I've seen fire authorities that have formed right here. Orange County Fire Authority is probably one of the great examples of they have the funding because they're an authority, a separate revenue enterprise fund for the fire department that allows them to really have a Class 1 ISO fire department, and hence better service to their community and better safety for their firefighters.
Okay, so we're at the end of the trail here, and the name of the trail was Bogart Trail. And just a great hike. It was beautiful weather. It's probably in the mid 60s, maybe early 70s. Yeah, around 70 degrees. A little bit of a wind, but just a solid hike, really nice. You saw the view, it was amazing. I want to thank Kevin Nalder, Chief Nalder here at Palm Springs Fire Department. I just want to thank him for coming out here, bringing me out here on this hike, and doing this interview with us. And thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. I learned a lot from you. It was a great hike. It was a beautiful day. We saw some beautiful scenery, and I'm sad it's over.
All right. Well, maybe
we'll go eat lunch.
Yeah, we'll go eat lunch, and maybe we'll do it again someday.
There you go.
All right.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.